So we live just opposite to a block of preschools and kindergartens. There's about 100 kids that go into this block every single day, and every single day I see school drop-offs going really, really well, and then some going really, really poorly. So today we're talking about how to get this right, what are the mistakes that we want to avoid, and what really will set our children up for a successful day at preschool or daycare or kindergarten. Let's get started. Also, just a heads up, if you haven't started preschool already and you are looking at how to best prepare your child in advance before you get to that drop-off, then check out the video that is linked above. It's a webinar that I did all about preparing for starting out preschool, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So the first mistake that I see parents making, and this might actually surprise you, is focusing on friends first instead of directing your child towards a teacher or care provider. It's really easy to think that the friendship thing is the thing that's going to make your child feel most grounded, but actually the important thing within those first few days of a drop-off is that they feel secure and that they feel that they are adequately cared for and safe, and that happens at the hands of their care provider. So whether that is a teacher or a teacher's assistant or some adult that is in the room, we want to, as we're entering the room, point our child towards that person. Often they are standing at the door welcoming you in, but sometimes they are running around helping another child that's crying or putting a bag down over here. Wait until you've been able to contact your child with the care provider and that your child has seen that you've shared words with the care provider. It's sometimes easy that we just wave across the room and think that that has shown our child that that's the adult, but that doesn't often happen. We want to really make contact with that care provider and almost hand over our child to them so that your child is understanding that the chain of responsibility, the person that is going to be caring for them, is that person. Of course, every preschool and daycare setting is a little bit different. It might be that you are having to drop your child at the door and then that kind of interaction happens really naturally. Or it might be that you're allowed to enter the preschool at least for the first few minutes, which in my opinion is the ideal situation. We don't want that the drop-off takes too long. We don't want that you're staying there for hours on end, but we do want that your child has felt comfortable within the new place with you. And in that situation, of course, we want to really make sure that that contact, that handover has happened. Now, if you're in this situation, what you may be tempted to do is our second big mistake, and that is slipping out without telling your child goodbye. Sometimes our children do feel just really comfortable and they'll start engaging and playing and it feels like, yes, eureka, we're going to avoid the cry, let's just slip out. But what happens in those situations is that the child feels that they've been left. It kind of decreases their confidence that you're going to be coming back to fetch them later on. So we want to really make sure that we are saying goodbye. If you see that your child is suddenly engaging and feeling more confident, you might just, put your hand on their shoulder and just say, I'm going to be slipping out in the next minute, so I'm going to say goodbye now. You look like you're having so much fun. I love you. I'll be back in an hour or after lunch. Give them a concrete example of when you'll be back. And this might be that you need to look at the schedule in preschool to kind of understand it's after they've played or it's after outdoor time that you'll be coming back, and just give that example and say, I'm going to be slipping out. So at this point, some children might turn around and need like a big goodbye, and yes, that might mean that there are tears. You haven't ruined the fact that they were engaging. It is very, very likely, in fact, in my experience working in preschools, often the tears after parents left are very, very short. So don't worry that you've now taken them away from the game. It is very likely that after you've left, after there's been a few tears, that they'll manage to slip back into that game. It's great that they've already found something that they enjoy or attracts them or that they want to engage with. Which brings us to our final mistake, which is not managing your own emotions before you get to the point of the drop-off. Man, this is really easy to do. You're so focused on your child that you forget or don't notice the fact that you're actually really anxious about dropping them off. Maybe you feel that you don't know the preschool teacher enough, maybe you are unfamiliar with the environment, or maybe you're just plain nervous, which is really human. So what we want to do is take a few minutes to either journal or just think on yourself before you enter that environment so that you can show up to your child as seeming to be calm, confident, that they are feeling that you are leaving them in strength and that they're not anxious about your anxiety, because we all know that our children feel our emotions. It's in the small ways that we speak, it's in our hand gestures, they feel that anxiety. So we want to really make sure that as we are entering into the drop-off time, that we are feeling confident and at least giving our children that secure feeling that everything is well. What I see happening a lot with parents is that if they haven't taken that moment to kind of check in on their own feelings, they easily let their decisions be based on their feelings instead of what their child really needs. This can show up in the extending of a goodbye, where you've said goodbye but then you go out and then you come back in because you hear them crying, and then you go out, you come back in. This kind of behavior, or letting ourselves and our own fear kind of cloud how we're interacting, can really linger, and it won't just be one bad drop-off, but it can linger for several bad drop-offs. So really check in before you go in. And I want to just give you some encouragement that in the hundreds of children that I've seen dropped off at preschool, and the children that I've worked with as they are being dropped off at preschool, that often what you see, that big reaction of your child, the tears, it does only last a really, really short amount of time. If you are confident that they are in a safe and good place, you can be confident that they will be okay after a few minutes. I'm sure that you have done lots of homework in the lead up to this day, that you understand where your child is going, and that in that you can feel confident that they are safe and that they will be well cared for. Separation anxiety is a real thing. It doesn't feel easy, but it will get better if you can easily and strongly guide your child in this process. So I hope that it goes really, really well on your child's first day of school and every day after that. And just a reminder, if you are still in that preparation stage, make sure that you go and check the video that's on your screen now, because it walks you through everything that you need to know about preparing for preschool. I'll see you over there.